Hi pals, it is me, RT, they them pronouns only. Everything is going wrong. The sun is setting, so the light hurts my eyes. My hair is upsetting me, so I've put a hat on, and now the hat's upsetting me. I've got a slightly pink face for unknown reasons. There is dog hair flying around getting stuck to my face. I'm in pain, I'm tired, my eyes are crying for no reason, because I just have crying eyes all the time now, which is another health issue that I need to work out what the fuck is going on there and how to fix that, because it's getting on my nerves. Anyway, this video I'm talking about yoga, in case that wasn't obvious. I wanted to talk about yoga for a while anyway, but I decided now is the appropriate time because I've not actually been able to do yoga for the last couple of weeks. I can see the dust. I don't know why dust has suddenly appeared. Please ignore all of these dust particles flying everywhere. I literally cleaned this week for once. Anyway. So I've not been able to go to yoga for the last couple of weeks. I literally only go once a week on a Monday for like an hour and a bit. It kind of varies. It's technically an hour and a quarter, but it sometimes ends early. And I've realised that not going, I'm in more pain. I am in pain. And I'm upset. One, I'm upset that yoga helps. Two, I'm upset that I'm in pain again that I just can't get on top of, because I can't just do a YouTube video. That's not how my ADHD brain works.
I have tried.
I need a video call because I need a real person or someone who's actually there. Kind of just wanted to talk about my approach to yoga, the things I've learned over the years, because I'm not new to yoga. I've done yoga a lot over the years, and also wanted to talk about it from, specifically a chronic illness perspective, but also from a hypermobile perspective, and yeah, just regurgitate all of that at you for probably half an hour. So I guess I can start with my history with yoga. I have done yoga on and off for a large portion of my life. A lot of it is because performing arts like to use it quite a lot. I don't even remember what the particular purpose for doing yoga was, but yeah, different courses I did, tended to use some kind of yoga. Some of my dance classes also included some yoga related things, and I could not tell you what their specific reasonings were for it. So it's something I've been doing for, God, maybe 15 years on and off. I have also had times where I wasn't doing performing arts and I would go and do yoga classes at semi-local gyms and things like that. But I decided to get back into yoga this year because I've been doing yoga regularly again since literally New Year's. I decided to do it as just part of it was a way of having regular movement in my week, but also trying to use other things about yoga to try and improve just my quality of life.
I also use it as a mental check-in with my body as well.
And I don't do in-person yoga anymore. I only do Zoom yoga. I'll go into more details of that. I've done a lot of different kinds of yoga. I've had a lot of different people teaching me, and many of them not knowledgeable about health conditions, and there can be a bit of a competitive atmosphere sometimes when you do yoga classes, because it's a lot of usually middle-aged women or older women, cis white women, basically just trying to show off, and that would annoy me. A lot of classes I've done over the years don't usually involve people my age, except from when it's been in performing arts, often usually older white cis women, and a lot of the yoga classes are built around those people, including the cost. I remember it used to be a lot easier to find cheap yoga classes, and now it's really difficult, and I think that's inflation and capitalism.
Insert anti-capitalist right here.
That's one of the barriers, because if I've got to, you've got to pay to go. Usually it doesn't like transfer over if you can't make it that week, or you have to buy them in bulk to even get maybe a marginal amount of discount. If there's a discount, sometimes you just have to buy in bulk and they're like, that's it, fuck off. Like, none of that is particularly helpful for a chronically ill person who may not be able to get to the location, may just have a turn literally an hour before, the night before a class. And again, like with having to buy a bulk of sessions without options of trialing it really first to see if you even like or get on with the instructor, it sucks when you are chronically ill and neurodivergent. So I found this class through just like a newsletter I'm signed up to for like a lot of local spiritual woo-woo kind of different things, because that I enjoy those things, as we have already shared and discussed in my tarot card reading video. I do have a kind of preference towards the kinds of physical activities that kind of comes under that umbrella. I have had an interest in things like, I think it's Qigong and Tai Chi and things like that. But again, it's very difficult finding classes like that at times that suit me and in modes that suit me and in something that's affordable for me. Because there's a few of those other classes too that I would be interested in partaking in. But yeah, unfortunately it's just not something that fits into my life and abilities right now. This yoga class is not really cheap, but not super expensive. It's like $7.50 for concession, so disabled people. And like I said, it's over an hour. It's a Zoom video call class. That's also a preference for me, because I just find actually getting to a location regularly really difficult, especially with sharing a car with my mum, not really being near public transport, and also the public transport I do have access to doesn't have the best links to places that are usually doing these classes. And then that one also is the extra cost of having to pay for parking, pay for petrol, pay for travel. But also I really like about video call classes is that you can turn your camera off and kind of change the settings so you are pretty much only looking at the instructor's video. And I find that is helpful for this whole like weird competition kind of sensation I feel in some of these spaces, because I can just kind of disconnect from the other people in the class. Everyone's muted. I don't have to worry about traveling somewhere. It's in the comfort of my own home. I don't have to worry about what I look like I feel like, sound like, you know, whatever. And it doesn't matter, like I can take breaks and things like that without people seeing and judging me. It's like, because a lot of this is internal. Like I know there's probably like no one really cares, but it helps helps my brain keep doing it. And then this particular kind of yoga that we do involves actually a lot of stillness and relaxation over like exercise, which I also really like.
I also wanted to add that being able to do yoga at home on Zoom, where I can have the camera off, also means that I don't have to be still, and I can kind of like move and stim and just kind of like vibe out in ways that suit me, that aren't usually super appropriate or like accepted or whatever in physical, neurotypical, non-disabled yoga classes and spaces like that. So just wanted to add that.
I noticed a drop in my heart rate since starting, and I really do think that was the main impact on my heart rate, because I've talked about it here before, but for quite a while I realised I'd had quite a high resting heart rate. I was generally low grade tachycardic. thanks to wearing one of these and noticing that since August of last year, I've also been able to like proceed with a POTS evaluation. I also talked about POTS on here as well before. I noticed a drop from like an average of 90 to 100 down to the 80s, and then my sleeping heart rate was 80 to 85, and it's dropped to like 75. So seeing that benefit basically directly from starting yoga has been pretty cool. Pretty sick. Like I'll keep doing yoga for that alone, because tachycardia is really uncomfortable. I think it's been rising again since not being able to continue, I think because of pain. Yeah, I've literally sat here and I'm at 101, 99, like high 90s. I'm sitting still. I'm literally just sitting here talking to you. It doesn't need to be in the 90s. And yeah, since stopping, I was sick for a week, and then my instructor was sick last week, so it may even be 3 weeks. But since not being able to continue every week, and having a 2.5 week break, is generally a lot of those pains I was dealing with at the beginning of the year are coming back. It's the chest pain, or like discomfort, a lot of neck and back pain. I can hear my back cracking a lot and like clicking around, and it hasn't done that for quite a while, so I feel like it's because it's not getting the right kind of stretching and care that it was getting from doing that regular yoga. Generally it's just my upper body again is absolute fucking murder. Shoulders, arms, back, ribs, neck. My head is I'm starting to get some headaches again, and I'm struggling with sleeping because I'm in pain, and my medical cannabis isn't touching it really at all. Great. There has been a lot of controversy over the years about whether yoga is good for chronically ill people, and specifically hypermobile people. When I last saw the musculoskeletal team, I think that was November 2021, maybe. He actually agreed that and ballet are actually good for hypermobile people, as long as you are doing it safely, and if you don't know how to do it safely, then with an instructor who can guide you through that. And for God, I don't even know, but like performing arts for me was good in helping me learn to understand and like gauge what my body is doing and what it feels like. So I feel like that was a really good base level of education for sort of self-awareness, especially as an autistic person, where I do struggle with a lot of like, I think it's interoception, which is just what your body feels like. God, see, like it just hurts. Fuck. And since then as well, I've spent that time learning when I'm hyperextending and what that feels like, what that looks like, and then what not hyperextending feels and looks like. I had a bit of help from a nutritionist / personal trainer in about November 2021-ish for a few months, who was also helpful with some of that too. And like a lot of the time it is just practice, especially if you don't necessarily have access to a person who can show you or talk you through those things. Definitely like looking in mirrors, like we did a lot of that in performing arts and dance, so that's something that I think that helps in that awareness. So yeah, that's something I would advise people, is if you're beginning, definitely try not to overdo things. And the ways you can kind of avoid overdoing it is using mirrors so you can see what your body is doing, but also like there are a lot of moves that will be easy. You're probably already overdoing it. Make it easier. But also like what I find personally is certain stretches do not work for me, so I have to do them differently. I particularly have difficulty feeling any kind of stretch in my glutes at all. I have to do quite intense, weird things to feel a glute stretch, and that can be the same for some other things too. So it is just kind of, if you go to these classes, definitely have conversations with the instructors about what adaptations there are. Good instructors will already give different kinds of like levels of adaptation. If those things aren't particularly appropriate for you and your needs, definitely have a conversation either then or like at the end. Sometimes having a conversation with the instructor first, if you can be helpful. I've definitely had some nice and good yoga instructors over the years that I couldn't continue seeing for one reason or another, that I would have liked to continue going to. There was a particular one I think I was going to last year, maybe the year before. They were queer and they were, this is the thing, is that a lot of yoga instructors are skinny. They were like more mid-sized, small fat, so I felt a little bit more at ease in their company. But unfortunately they kind of only did evening classes that I was allowed to attend, so they were just too late for me. Finding a time that works for you and a mode that works for you, like some people prefer and find it much better to go places like physically. Some people are more like me who prefers to be at home and just kind of have that as like a guidance and accountability of having somebody actually in real life there. Some people can do videos and it's fine, but also sometimes that's you need that a person to speak to, where a lot of like YouTube content they can't or wouldn't be able to give you specific advice in this kind of regard. But also like the way I take the classes I'm doing at the moment is that I definitely use it as more of a guidance. I do things slowly. There are some stretches or positions that I find, oh, actually I'm really feeling a stretch here, I think I should stay in this a bit longer, or like experiment a little bit in this position. Can I lean more into it? What does this do if I move my leg or arm slightly this way? They'll continue moving on, so I'll just sort of like catch up and do some of the stuff. But again, some things I don't feel particularly much of a stretch in, or that I really need that stretch, and sometimes I just really feel a muscle that's like, oh, actually, because of your hypermobility, we've not been awake, so this stretch is actually really nice, can we carry on doing that please? And the instructor's very nice. She lets me pay every week rather than in bulk, and she also has let me sort of carry over that payment for the one that I've not been able to attend to whenever I'm next able to attend a session. Like, there are a lot of benefits to yoga if you can do it properly. That's not the word I want to use, but you know, if you can do yoga responsibly for your body, you can build strength in your muscles, which is important and helpful for hypermobile people, is building the muscle around your joints that do hyperextend. Also, the stretching is helpful for hypermobile people because our muscles are often tense all the time, just trying to hold ourselves up together. Like, it's taken me many years to try and unlearn some of the subconscious things my muscles do, because it just feels like I'm going to fall apart if I relax my stomach, if I don't clench my bum when I'm standing. You know, like, there's just a lot of things that it takes a really long time to learn and unlearn, and we are prone to injury whether we're doing things properly or not. But it has been confirmed by a few professionals to me now that yoga is actually a good physical activity to take on for hypermobile people. It is just how you interact with that. I think I've spoken about this particular feeling in a video recently, where it's like, I actually kind of see this time where I'm doing yoga as like time to just be, and I'm kind of try to remain detached from other things going on. Like, I've had to like learn to keep my phone away from me in the room so I don't, when I get a bit bored and ADHD inattentive, I don't pick up my phone. And those moments of stillness and like shavasana and things like that have been really, really beneficial for my mental health and, like I said, my heart rate, my pain levels. And I didn't really realize how much of an impact it had on me personally, at least recently, until I couldn't go for 2 weeks. And now I am sad. I'm so sad. And I wish I could have gone this week. Yeah. There's a lot of ways you can adapt yoga and yoga moves. You don't have to do all the cool fun tricks. You don't have to do all those things.
There are other more specialised classes as well that you can take. Things like chair yoga exist.
Sometimes listening to what your internal monologue is telling you whilst you're doing these things is really helpful to learn what you can adjust in your practice to make things healthier and a bit less toxic, both like just emotionally and physically, mentally, whatever. But it is like, we're all individual, so these are just things based on my own experiences that I've learned over many years, and also just reflecting on it whilst I am in pain again. Anyway, I need to lie down because I have to go out later. So like the video, leave a comment down below with any of your thoughts or tips or what you think is important as well. If I didn't mention it, let me know what you think of the stuff that I said. Is that helpful to you? Subscribe to the channel. All these things are helpful for the algorithm. Support me, chronically ill and small creator on YouTube, please. Thanks. And I will see you in next week's video. Bye.